Hey, it is DigiWatchTCG coming to you with a new series called What Just Happened. Now, this is a series that is going to be focused on more regional events and things that are at higher levels than the locals. And I'd like to just go over kind of like the top decks and just kind of see if there's any trends, any differences, and stuff like that. And of course, you can see this on your own. So, first thing I want to say is shout out to Digimon Cardio itself. I'm not sponsored by them, I'm not affiliated with them, but I do have an account with them. They are really good in terms of having the ability to build decks like this and being able to even see your test hands. So seeing what you can potentially have as your security in your main hand here. Oh boy, look at that hand. Um, and also be able to look at news coming out or forums or look up cards or being able to see what you could potentially pull or see a restricted list. Like there's a lot of utility with this site. So shout out to whoever came up with the idea for this site. Also, shout out to Yomsky. Now, Yomsky is the person from all these decks that has built these decks here. So I think it's someone who is either maybe they're a YouTuber, a streamer, or maybe they are working for like Bandai or I don't know. But they posted these up here. It's the same person. So thank you so much for posting these up. It really helps with everyone. But basically, how you find this, and this is how I found it, is you go to Online Premium as the event. And if you go to Online Premium, as you can see here, you'll see multiple decks. This is Carta Magica, which you'll see in a different video. This is going to be focused on core TCGs. But it basically gives you the people who played the deck, where they came in, whether it was the top 16 or place. And if you go further back, you'll obviously see more of them here. So here's the core TCG, and you can see what type of decks made it into the top cut. So this is yeah. So it's a really helpful site in being able to find those. And I actually just recently found out that you can go to Online Premium and find those. The most recent being the top ones here. With that said, please like, subscribe, and leave any comments or feedback on the video that you find would help the channel. With that said, let's get started. So I'm going to start with the first place deck rather than the eighth place. And that is because this is David Lagos. He came in first place both in the core and Carta Magica TCGs Ultimate Cup. And so he obviously is doing something right. And we have the deck list here. So I'm not going to focus on too much of like anything too specific. You can obviously see the cards here, and you can go online and you can look up what they do if you don't know what they do. But the things I'm going to focus on are really just the small checks or texts that are a little different here. So, it's just, this is for example, it's very standard blue. There's not really anything too much I'm going to say about it. There is the Kendo Garurumon that I will say that I don't see in every single deck, but I do think it's a really good card, being able to consistently bounce level threes from your opponent to your opponent's hand. That means that Pokemon, if you're playing against a deck that uses Pokemon, is going to constantly keep going back to their hand, and they're going to have to constantly keep giving resources to basically play the Pokemon again. So I think that's very powerful in certain decks. Also, having the Mimi here, being able to tap Mimi and being able to gain one memory, and that helps you against memory blockers. So if you're playing against a player that has Modoki out and you tap the Mimi, Hammer Spark if you play Hammer Spark, you can still tap Mimi to gain that memory. We play four Davis, four Sora, four Tommy, and one Matt. I like this breakdown. I think it's pretty consistent throughout. I like consistency decks like this. This is a really good example of a top blue hybrid deck. Going to second place, we see it was also a hybrid. I'm just going to focus on the differences here. So mainly the difference that I'll say between the two is that basically you have the options here. These you play one less David over here, Dustin Davis over here, and you have the Aqua Viper and you have the Supreme Cannon. So these two here, clearing boards, being able to bounce back anything 3,000 DP or less to the player's hand, and then the Aqua Viper being able to do the same thing. One is active effect and security, the other one adds to hand and security. I just think that it's really popular and very powerful, being able to get rid of problem cards that are like memory blockers or things like that. But Keep in mind that Supreme Cannon will not work on hybrid type cards like these ones here, because nothing is really less um, in terms of like security. Sorry, not less than like 3,000. So it does miss it on there. But again, being able to bounce Pokemons or like memory blockers back to hand, even though you do kind of give them a source to use in the future, they have to commit again to them. And so it's very good at like an end of turn card and just being able to pass turn and being able to set up your board and kind of like delay them for a turn. So this was Josh Cameron's deck list. Really good. Third place, we're also looking at blue, but this one is in Magna Garurumon build, so this is a little bit different. Everything pretty much is the same here, except the Kendo Garurumon and the two versions, one being the one that can bounce back a card, the other one gains jamming. This is a good one, but the only thing I'll say about this is that you do have to. It is a 3-cost to Digivolve. Having Pokemon really does help because then it becomes a 1-cost to Digivolve on top of a Tamer. Um, but it is good. It is really good in terms of being able to consistently bounce back cards and make them reuse their sources and memories to play the card again. Also having the Magna Garurumon, if your opponent's not able to clear your Beowulf, or you just keep it on field, not going to attack, and then you go to the Magna, it's kind of good to be able to bounce back a card. Then when a card is bounced back or adds to hand, you can unsuspend one of your Digimon. So that's not himself only; that could be another Digimon as well. But I like Magna Garurumon. About to say Magna Angemon. Susanomon, also being able to cycle back all your hybrids. You remember you do play like about 4, 8, 10 hybrids over here that are level 4s. You may want to get them back in your deck. I don't think this is more. I think this is more along the lines of not necessarily decking out, but just being able to get a big person on the board that basically can do a lot of damage late in the late game. If you have a few Sword Joes with plus a Davis, you could pretty much go into him either on your Magna or Digivolve with enough sources in the trash. Pretty much everything else here is pretty standard. I'm not going to go into it too much. There is a little bit of variation between the map being at 2 and Davis being out at 3, which I haven't seen too often. But for 2 cost, it's a vanilla, essentially allowing you to just Digivolve and be able to swing. Going into 4th place, this is a really cool deck. I like it a lot. This is blue green. I'm going to spend just a slight amount of time on here. Having the blockers as your base is really smart, especially since there's basically some really good option cards you can use. Forbidden Trident, being able to use this on one of your Digimon gaining 2,000 makes it very strong. Also having like cards like Thunder Laser, being able to suspend your opponent's Digimon when you have a hybrid, is very powerful. This is Russell Lepere. I apologize for a name if I mispronounce it, but very good. I feel like the person who made this basically figured, I'm going to be facing a lot of blue hybrids. I'm just going to play a deck that's like anti-blue hybrid, and basically said, okay, I'm going to play Nidhogg, I'm going to play Argamon, and I need something for being able to like do damage, like good damage, and that's Ancient Beelmon. Argamon though is definitely the true champion of this deck, and being able to keep your opponent's cards suspended is very, very powerful. I think mid game, this is probably one of the best cards you can absolutely go against in terms of blue, for the main fact that they basically will not be able to unsuspend their cards. So if they committed a few Sword Joes or a few cards and they have them on their field, Argamon does not let them unsuspend their Tamers. So that's very powerful. But overall, like this is a very cool experimental deck. I haven't seen this too often at my own personal locals, and Pokemon as well. It at 4 definitely lets you gain a lot of memory. Going into 5 over here, the 5th deck, this is Jesse Spencer. Now, this is Purple Lilith Loop. We all kind of know what Lilith does. It recycles, it gets you memory. It's very powerful. I like the utilization of the scatter mode here. So, if you don't know, Newsmon gives it the everything that is trashed or returns from the trash rush. That includes Eismons. So, you can use scatter mode destroy your own scatter mode, and then play your Eismons, and Eismons will trigger in trash to come back out. And if you have a Nubismon in play at that time, they all get rush. Even if they don't have rush, you know what it does? You have the Cerberus mode. So you can Digivolve into Cerberus mode, and being able to attack for 9,000 DP is very, very powerful. So I do like the effects of this play style, in order to do that. And then once you are done like with Werewolf mode, and hopefully it survives, you could always go into Lilithmon to recycle. And we know what Lilithmon does. When Lilithmon takes the Jack Raid get played, gain 2 to 3 memory, and basically be able to cycle that. Really powerful stuff. And with so many cards here that are one cost, like the Calling and the Deathclaw, very powerful stuff. Especially also with Analog Youth at 4 is good. I would have liked to see maybe 1 Mat and 3 Analog Youths, just to kind of have that memory tamer just available if needed. But I definitely see the value of being able to play Eismon. This is essentially Eismon Rush Turbo with Werewolf mode and Lilith. So very powerful stuff. So that is Jesse Spencer's deck. It's a scary deck. So that's 5th place. 6th place, we have a different purple deck. So this one is the Cherubimon, basically with a purple base. And so you have the Demi Mirrors, you have a lot of Tamers, that's obvious. Here, just to bring back your Analog Youths. Actually, surprisingly, not that as many Tamers as I thought. There's another deck that does. But this is I feel like this is, again, looking at like a bit of an anti-meta kind of looking of, okay, you're going to be playing blue hybrid. How do I stop that? Well, I can make them pay more and pass turn to me. Playing 4 Neo Devimon, that is really good. Playing the kind of what was I saying before, the Anubismon, that's really interesting. 3 Lucimon to recover, because if you're playing against a fast deck, absolutely Lucimon is necessary. Then you have the scatter modes and the Lidu Dev just to speed up some stuff. A little surprised with the 2 Jack Raids, but yeah, like that's kind of crazy. Being able to play Jack Raid for 1 and then gain from Mimi is really powerful. And basically this to me seems like it's going to be like a Cherubimon rush type of deck. So like you basically get your Anubismon out on the field for 3 or a good amount, and then you're able to get Cherubimon at some point later. And then once you have all your rookies in your trash, as well as Eismon, like I said before, you can pop your Cherubimon, whether it's your own effect or your opponent's effect, and then bring back all of your guys here up to the number of Tamers you have, which is at a max here 5. So I think that's a really powerful deck. It's definitely scary. 7th deck. Let me just make sure. Yep, 7th deck. We go back to blue. Nothing too different over here other than just a Strabimon. This is Chris Sock's deck. Again, pretty standard. Nothing too crazy. We've seen a blue deck before, but 7th place is also really, really good. So shout out to Chris. 8th final deck I'm going to be featuring in this video today is going to be a Cherubimon deck with a yellow core. So this is Noah Menechis. I apologize if I mispronounce it. So basically same concept with Cherubimon, but I do like the fact that they're kind of utilizing that Kari engine with Mimi and the Blinding Ray, being able to trash a card from your security, gain from Mimi, gain from Kari if you have them in play, which again in this deck is really easy. Once you go into your 5, being able to recycle back a Tamer, being able to use the effect to get back like a Calling or a Schwartz or a Deathclaw or any of your options is really powerful. And then being able to kind of cycle back everything again, because Matt will get you either a Calling or it'll get you one of your pieces that you're missing. And then at some point when you're ready to use Cherubimon for your Bushies, your Cutemon, your Bokomons, to be able to just continuously like loop your Tamers and everything. So and then you're playing a yellow Upamons, of course. But this deck, again, really scary stuff. I honestly understand why purple is like the nightmare theme and kind of like the devilish stuff, because when it gets going in late game, it is very, very scary to get through. With that said, though, that's all I have for you today. I hope that this deck helped you, and congrats to all the winners of the Ultimate Cup. I'll be back with another video with the Carta Magica. Take care, enjoy.